I'd like to call the Thursday, April 24th, 2025 meeting of the Bloomington Historic Preservation Commission to order. Addie, would you call the roll, please?
Okay. Let me get the recording started. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Perfect. Okay, Duncan Campbell.
Present.
Karen Duffy.
Present.
Elizabeth Mitchell. Ernesto Castaneda. Daniel Schlegel.
Here.
Sam DeSaller.
I'm here.
Reynard Cross.
Here.
Jack Baker.
I'm here.
Jeremy Hackard.
Here.
Melody Dusner.
Here.
The minutes, April 10th minutes, does anybody want to make a motion?
I would move to approve the minutes with a caveat that we add who voted for what in there. According to our Article 1, I think it's Section F, we're supposed to record the yeas and nays and the names for everybody on the votes.
Yes. Myself and the other staff liaison, we were advised of this 2 days ago. Okay. So we will begin recording that going forward.
Excellent.
Not a problem.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Which one?
Okay. He was louder.
Yeah, Jack.
Okay.
Read the next one.
Okay. Daniel Schlegel.
Yes.
Sam DeSaller.
Yes.
Reynard Cross.
Yes.
Jack Baker.
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard.
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
We're going to, with the order of business, to allow the petitioner who is here for the wall over at the mill to be heard, so he can get out of here in a timely fashion.
Which COA?
This is COA
2020.
2525.
Okay, thank you.
Address 642 North Madison Street in the Showers Furniture Historic District. The petitioner is the Bloomington Redevelopment Commission. The proposal written by Representative J.D. Boroff, Director of Operations and Facilities for the city. It was brought to my attention that the south wall of the mill building was leaning toward the exterior. Dave Umphris from Umphris Masonry and John Crane, a civil engineer, were brought to evaluate the wall. As the attached engineer's report shows, one section of the wall was about 4 3/8 inches at the top of the wall, was out 4 3/8 inches at the top of the wall. Mr. Crane specified emergency shoring methods, which were installed by Umphris Masonry. These measures included exterior shoring with metal jack poles to stabilize the wall, and a stud wall constructed on the interior of the building to carry the roof load. The scope of work for the repairs involves the deconstruction of the western 2/3 of the south wall down to the level of the first-story windows. The existing bricks will be cleaned and reused. If there is need to replace any damaged or broken bricks, historically correct bricks will be used and placed on the interior of the wall. The historically correct mortar mix will be used. The attached scope of work contains a drawing and specifications for the work. Does the petitioner have anything to add?
I would add that we haven't discussed today whether the pilasters in the wall would be involved, and there won't be. This will just be the walls between the pilasters. The pilasters remain in place. There will be a slight difference in the plumb between the pilaster and the wall, but it'll be negligible, and the interior of the wall will appear seamless. So.
Thank you. All right, questions? Duncan, I'm going to start with you, if that's all right.
I don't really have any questions. I mean, I like the report. It seems thorough. I like that they're going to match the original mortar, which is what we did on this building and all the rest of them. And that's the spec that should be followed. So I think it's obviously a problem. So I'm not going to stand in the way of it. Yeah, it looks good.
Not until we finish, anyway. Renard, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Jeremy? No. Jack?
Just as a matter of interest, what's the failure? Is it in the mortar itself that has failed and is causing the wall to tip?
There was some cracking that was propagating from the corners, the southwest corner. those are being tuck pointed, re-tuck pointed. And the mortar actually is pretty hard. It's in pretty good shape on that wall, being 115 years old. We were really surprised. But we don't know what's going to happen when we tear into the wall on the inside, whether we're running any rotten mortar at that point. We're hoping not. We're hoping just to go down to the top of the first story windows between the pilasters and come back up, but it'll all be determined by what we find when we deconstruct the
So
wall.
what do you think really happened to cause the top of the wall to tip?
Well, the fact that it's 115 years old, and there was an interior stud wall that abutted the interior that was removed during the renovations 7 or 8 years ago. And there was a floor over that area where the south event space was at that was removed at the same time. The engineer feels that may have turned that wall loose a little bit, but just the fact that, you know, it's as old as it is and the construction methods, there's probably no way we're going to be able to determine an exact cause.
Thank you.
Mel, do you have questions?
No, thanks.
Karen? Daniel? I had a follow-up question on the pilasters. So if the pilasters are basically remaining in place and the walls between them are going to be rebuilt and they're now 4.5 inches out, that's going to put the tops of the walls relative to the eave in a different
Yeah, the
position.
pilasters aren't out near as much as the wall is between them. The bow primarily happens between the pilasters. There will be, like I said, the walls will be plumb from this point. The pilasters will be slightly out of plumb, but the engineer has no concerns about the integrity of the pilasters.
Gotcha. So the eave exposure is going to either get a little bigger or become back to
It'll actually
normal.
go back closer to what it was originally.
What it was
The
supposed to
wall
be.
has come out from underneath the rafters when
Okay.
it moved out, and we'll be pulling it back in.
Yeah,
Correct.
it looked like a very tight eave, like under a foot in a lot.
It is, and the only other concern we have is the condition of the rafter tails.
Yeah.
If there's any rotten rafters above the wall, but we'll repair those when we get to them if we find them.
Yeah, and those are all like, the brick is cut at those points, right?
Well, the rafters actually sit on a wood sill plate,
Yep,
and there was brick on top of the wooden sill plate between the rafters just to fill the spaces up.
right.
They had no structural, they were just there to block
So
air.
it's, yeah,
So basically, the rafters are sitting on top of the wall.
gotcha, thank you. Any comments from the public?
I'm not the public, but
Concerned party.
as the executive director of the redevelopment commission, I will just say that the RDC did vote on Monday night to provide funding for the repair for approximately $500,000. They've already paid for approximately $100,000 for the initial shoring, so this would be the last step in ensuring that we can make these repairs. I want to also mention that the mill is missing out on quite a bit of income during this wedding and graduation season, approximately $50,000, I think, in total. So we're very fortunate that Mr. Humphreys has the ability to get this into his schedule. They are estimating approximately 12 weeks to get this done, but that we are going to be hopping on it quickly. So thank you to JD and also to Mr. Humphreys. And so hopefully we can get approval to move forward and get this handled.
Thank you. All right, do I hear a motion
So moved.
to move to approve?
Yeah, move to approve.
All right, do I hear a second? Jeremy, discussion? I think the only thing I want to say is that the estimates were on the high side, so it may come in under that. And I agree with
We
Duncan.
did that purposely because working on such a tight schedule, developing detailed cost estimates was very difficult.
So hopefully it will be,
We're expecting to come in way under budget and way under schedule, or ahead schedule, but we gave ourselves some room to work. So
Knock on all the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
knock on wood,
Knock on
such
wood.
is the nature of any construction project.
hope for the best, Mike.
thank you.
That's right.
Any other comments? All right, I think you can call the roll.
Okay. Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes?
Raynard Cross,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Okay. Moving on back now to COA 2523. This is for 2304 North Martha Street in the Matlock Heights Historic District. Petitioner is Katie McIntosh. The lovely house you see here, yes?
Does the petitioner need to be here for staff?
The petitioner is online.
Okay.
The house you see here is actually next door. As I'll show you in this slide. Anyway, there's 2304 refers to what's currently an empty lot next to this house to the left. 2304 North Martha Street is a vacant lot, currently separated from the rest of the street by a row of trees. On its west, it borders the gravel parking area of the mechanic's shop, and on the east, a massed stone ranch owned by the petitioner. In 2023, the Historic Preservation Commission approved plans for a single-story duplex on this lot, but this has not yet been built, and ownership of the lot has since changed. The request: our residence is 2300 North Martha Street. We have purchased the lot next door, 2304 North Martha Street. The lot is bordered on the east by our house, AAA and Doo-Wop's Body Shop to the west, Cascades Creek to the north, and the dead end of Martha Street to the south. We are working on cleaning up the lot and removing invasive honeysuckle. This is creating even less of a barrier between our yard and the body shop. We would like to put up a fence to provide separation. The proposed fence is to be 6 feet tall with treated pine horizontal boards. See attached estimate. This gravel lot is split between the body shop and the lot for 2304 North Martha Street. So the fence would run through part of the gravel lot that you see here. Staff approves COA 2523. The proposed 6-foot horizontal pine board privacy fence meets district guidelines for design and materials. Would be located in front of behind the front of the adjacent house, screening the edge of the district from the mechanic's shop and North Walnut Street. So thank you for attending, Kitty.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So since this has already been approved by staff, this is also a question for legal. Does the petitioner actually need to be present for this, or can they just be, because in the past we haven't had the petitioners present for staff approvals, since the review has already been done.
Right. So we were just looking at this language. I mean, it does say that no petitioner request will be heard unless the petitioner or representative is present. So is she online?
Yes.
She is online. So we're not doing present for quorum purposes. We're doing present for her to be able to add additional information. So I would say that that constitutes present for these purposes.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I was just wondering if she actually did need to be here because it had already been approved by staff.
Oh, even online?
Yeah.
You know, I think it is in the petitioner's best interest to be available online, because even though staff makes a recommendation, it is a recommendation to you all, right? Or do you make your approval, but then the commission could decide to.
I've just been reading that, by the letter. So even though, the petitioner may not necessarily learn anything new since they receive the packet and see that they're going to be getting approval,
Right.
it's just,
I think
it can't be heard unless they're present.
right. I think so too. So I would encourage the petitioner to at least be available online, even with the staff review.
So that's encouragement, but not requirement. I just want to be. I want clarity is all.
Yeah, I'm happy to look into it more and to see if we actually have to require that, but the language is not completely clear.
Okay.
And it does say the petitioner needs to be present, and it does not distinguish between a CA that's a staff review or a CA that's a commission review.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Our next item, 2515. I believe the petitioner is not present. If you are, let me know. Otherwise, this item will be continued.
Anybody online?
Nothing online.
Oh, raised hand.
Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Yes, we are continuing.
Okay.
We just got our plans back and we will present the next meeting, but we are continuing for this.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
Thanks, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion to continue this?
Yeah, we have to since they were here.
Right.
Does anyone want to make said motion?
I move that we continue.
And that's 25, COA 2515?
There you
Yes, sir.
go.
Yes.
Okay. And Renard made the motion.
And Daniel seconded.
Okay. All right. Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Renard Cross.
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Jeremy Hacker,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thanks for coming in.
No, this next item, COA 2516, I just heard from the petitioner today asking to withdraw until she can submit new plans. So I'm running this by the commission for acknowledgement, but this item has been withdrawn. Okay, moving on. Withdrawn.
I think she was having difficulty getting plans
Right.
done.
Yeah, they're still awaiting plans. Don't think they'll have them ready for the next meeting. Next item, COA 2524 for 600 West 6th Street in the Near West Side Historic District. The petitioner here is Layla Taylor from Fast Signs. This is Fairview United Methodist Church, a 1925 Gothic Revival church with a two-story rear 1957 addition. The request is for the installation of new signage in a rear stone signpost. Part of the reason that this was included initially as commission review is that a previous proposal which had been amended would have called for a larger sign attached to the back of the building. So this is changed from what the Near West Side Neighborhood Committee would have seen. Staff recommends approval of COA 2524, revised from the original proposal to install a large vinyl banner on the rear facade. The use of an existing sign cabinet would leave the historic property unobscured and makes use of a historic installation. Is the petitioner here?
If you're online, just raise your hand.
I'm not seeing anything.
And the petitioner doesn't need,
We can move it just to the back of the agenda. You can call it out.
Okay.
this is now
This
the
is-
back of the agenda
This is
though.
the back of the agenda.
Okay. It's, the night's young. Okay. Okay. And COA 2525 we've done. Okay.
Are we gonna move that to the end of the agenda?
Oh, I suppose we'll have to make a motion to do that.
No, it says the petition will be moved to the end of the agenda if the petitioner has not appeared in time for the hearing.
Okay, it's automatically
Yeah.
bumped.
Yeah, so
Okay.
no
I just
motion
didn't
needed.
recall, maybe there is something after the mill. So yeah, there's some
There's some
demo delays.
Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't read our statement, which I, at this
Before
point,
COAs.
the procedural statement, which I might want to do. Just give me a sec to pull that up. Right, so belatedly, I'm going to read what we're supposed to be doing. And I was a little spanner in the works on moving the agenda around, so my apologies for that. So at this point, and a little bit previous, the Historic Preservation Commission has been hearing petitions for certificates of appropriateness followed by demolition delays. And for each item, the Historic Preservation Program Manager will first present staff report, we'll then hear if the petitioner has any additional information, followed by a round of questions from each commissioner. Ask petitioners. Public commissioners refrain from speaking. Doesn't seem to be a problem tonight until addressed by the chair, unless the question is directly addressed to them. If a member of the public or petitioner wishes to comment, please raise your hand until recognized by the chair. Upon completion of public comments, the chair will entertain motions from the commissioners regarding the relevant certificate of appropriateness or demolition delay. Once a motion is made by a commissioner, the chair then opens up the discussion of the item for members of the commission only. The chair will call for a vote once each commissioner has been given a chance to comment on the motion. We encourage all commissioners, petitioners, and members of the public to be civil and respectful at all times. Thanks for your patience on that one.
Okay. You'll notice here, your packet is correct. The PowerPoint is not. This is not 720 South High Street. This is 411 East 10th Street. And it's not for an outbuilding. This is for the house. The petitioner is Value Built Construction. This is a circa 1900 severely altered T-plan cottage with a large 2-story rear addition. Most of the exterior features on the original building have been replaced, including doors, windows, and porch elements. In the early 20th century, this house had a succession of occupants, mostly staying only for several years. This included the families of carpenters, delivery drivers, and factory workers. From 1934 to 1972, the house was owned by the Hooten family. The work history of John T. Hooten, the first owner in the family, reflects the changing shape of Bloomington's industries. Originally employed as a carpenter for the Showers Furniture Factory, he took a maintenance job at Indiana University in the 1940s. After his death in 1959, the house was briefly cared for by his daughter Goldie, before passing into the hands of his grandson Daryl, a Korean War veteran and self-described pleasure to be around. Daryl operated Hoot's Barbershop at 411 East 10th Street until 1972. After this date, the house became a short-term rental. The request is for full demolition. Staff recommends release of DD 2507. Does the petitioner have anything to add?
Is the petitioner present?
I do not.
Okay.
They are present.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Questions? Jack, questions? Jeremy? Renard? Duncan? Daniel?
So this isn't in any sort of district then, it's no.
It's not. Karen?
I do have one question. When I looked at this house, as well as the house next door, they both seem to me, I was looking from across the street, but they seem to have limestone foundation. Is that correct? Okay. And I don't know, hand worked. It looked like they were hand worked,
Rusticated, yes.
rusticated. Yeah, that's all.
Do you have questions? All right. No comments from the public? Any comments from anyone present?
We have to have a motion.
Yeah, we do have to have a motion. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to release DD 2507.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Let's discuss briefly. I think the only thing I'd add is if the petitioner is aware of BRI and if any of this house can be salvaged, I would talk to them because it'll save you some dumpster fees. And are
as
you?
in the past, will reach out to Steve if, before we demo, I always reach out to him and send him an email with a heads up, and he's always free to grab anything he wants from the house.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Okay. I think we are ready to call a vote.
Okay. Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Renard Cross,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Reluctant, yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right. I think we have one more.
Do you?
Yes. Oh, and you have to read the thing. Thank you, Jeremy.
Today, regarding the property located at 411 East 10th Street, the Historic Preservation Commission declares that it got notice of proposed demolition and after today's discussion sees no need to review the plans any further and waives the rest of the demolition delay waiting period. The HPC may later recommend the property for historic designation to the Common Council.
Thank you. So we are up to DD 2508.
Oh, this is for, again, it says 720 South High Street. This is 413 East 10th Street. Same petitioner, circa 1900, slightly altered pyramid roof cottage. 1.5 stories with a gabled L. A center dormer opens onto the street-facing elevation. The second story apartment is accessed through a rear exterior staircase. From 1910 through 1931, this house was owned by Emma Baugh, who rented extra space to workers and students. The house changed hands several times after Baugh moved out, housing a series of Showers employees. From 1945 through 1960, the house was owned by Mason Burt Skirvins and his wife Jessie, who rented extra spare rooms. In 1962, the house passed to their daughter Helen, a secretary, and her husband Kenneth Flynn, a steam fitter. Helen owned the house until her death in 1998. The request is for full demolition, and staff recommends release of DD 2508.
Does the petitioner have anything to add?
I do not.
All right. Well, questions? Hearing no questions, hear a motion?
I'll move to release DD 2508.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All right.
Hate to see it go.
Yeah, hate to see it go.
Another.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready to read it.
Okay. Daniel Schlegel,
Another reluctant yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Reynard Cross.
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Reluctant yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Will you read the resolution?
Today, regarding the property located at 413 East 10th Street, the Historic Preservation Commission declares that it got notice of proposed demolition, and after today's discussion, sees no need to review the plans any further, and waives the rest of the demolition delay waiting period. The HPC may later recommend the property for historic designation to the Common Council.
Thank you for coming in.
Okay, so let's revisit COA 2524.
Is the petitioner for 600 West 6th Street present? If you are, please raise your hand online.
Nothing.
All right. I guess we need to continue that. Yeah, I think we need to continue this guy.
It's automatically continued.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that might be all on our agenda.
Right, well, okay. Old business?
Do we have any new news on sidewalk, Willow Terrace, any outstanding?
The sidewalk, I am getting in touch with some landscaping companies to see if we can get somebody to put an estimate on, different proposals for trying to restore it. Something more historically accurate and presentable. And Willow Terrace, they have their COA for 2 years and we have a file going, keeping up, all the subsequent dialogue that we've had with them.
Any other commissioner comments? Old business, new business? Do we have any new business?
Never established who owns the sidewalk.
It's owned by the city.
It's owned by the city. So I'm
IU jurisdiction issue,
yeah.
correct?
Well, whatever happens to it is gonna have to be voted on by the commission, and it's gonna have to be restored by the
Well,
city.
the last meeting, you were dismissing it because you said it was an IU property.
I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to keep bringing it up until we find out what happened, until we find out who made it happen, and then to be sure that it doesn't become precedent so it doesn't happen again, and whether or not it's restorable is an open question at this point. Does that address your?
Well, I was just concerned that it was pushed over to IU property because IU property is exempt from our jurisdiction, and this is, nobody owns the sidewalks. I mean,
The city owns the
City on the sidewalk.
nobody owns them.
Yes, right.
So there was some discussion about that at the last meeting. I was concerned about us losing our jurisdiction over this issue, so sounds like we're back in.
Thank you.
New business, I actually do have something to share that's not in the agenda right now. Department of Housing and Neighborhood Development, I should say, is partnering with Cicada Cinema, which is a local film pop-up that shows movies around town, to do a screening of a movie called The Cruise. This is going to be on May 9th at 8 p.m. at the 601 North Morton Street, the Showers Administrative Building, in their newly restored top floor ballroom. This is a movie that follows a Manhattan tour guide taking people on an architectural tour of New York. So I'm excited to be collaborating on this, and it's also a great opportunity to get to check out this building that's not been open to the public for a very long time. So you can find more information about that either on the Cicada Cinema page or the historic Bloomington Instagram page.
It is a beautiful building.
This is 601 North Morton. So if you remember the door that was going to be switched out, yeah.
Administration building. What's the date?
May 9th.
It's a Friday.
And you said 8 p.m.?
8 p.m.
And it's Cruise?
It's called The Cruise.
The Cruise? As in
As in like
UISE or
Yeah.
EW?
like an ocean cruise.
Yeah, okay.
Except on the bus.
Except on a bus.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a different movie.
The Tom Cruise.
I mean, I was.
Tom's not gonna
Mhm.
be there.
K Cruise from New Orleans Mardi Gras. Yeah, they spell it with a K.
I'm actually very happy to see that, well, we should probably not have gotten credit for it because it was hand, but we do fall under the umbrella, but I'm happy to see that there's that kind of collaboration going on and that, you know, we might get some good press out of that, which.
Right.
we
Cicada
certainly
Cinema did
work
describe
for.
it as a partnership with the Historic Preservation Commission, so if this is your first time hearing about it, feel free to take credit.
And also, I would encourage anyone who has not seen the inside of that building to go because it is pretty amazing. And I haven't seen it since it's been restored, so I'm quite curious myself.
Great.
All right.
Comments? All right, hearing no comments.
Well, I have a question.
Questions?
Just to try to avoid this happening again, are these petitioners notified within range of these meetings? Like,
They're included in the email.
which comes out 2 weeks ago? Is there?
Well, 1 week ago.
It's like the last Friday.
Well, whenever you send the agenda.
Right, there's the Wednesday, which is when the agenda's sent, and then the Friday when the packet's sent.
Well, it just seems like maybe there's a way to refresh their memory. I mean, if you've got 5 people or whatever, and there's just a group email, like a reminder, because there's a lot of people here wasting time, including me. So it seems like.
It's not a waste. It's, you see me twice a month. Come on, though.
Not wasting time, enjoying the time that they're not using functionally.
Feel bad.
You know, I mean, it's,
It wouldn't hurt.
or associate, or let's think about a penalty. Like you get 1 crack or 2. Because some people have missed more than one in a row even, so.
Well, I mean, there are like those two petitions in, was it?
Well, those are people who are telling me that they're not planning on
not
attending. So this case with the sign is different where, for what, I don't know what the
Yeah,
reason is.
I get
Right.
that, but it seems like a couple of them at least were just no-shows.
Yeah. Well, the church was a no-show and
The
also.
sign person,
And
yeah,
the
she's
sign.
a business person, maybe she didn't read it very carefully.
The sign person, the church and the sign, I thought were the same one.
The petitioner is
Petitioner was
the
passed out.
sign company
Yeah.
Okay,
For the church.
for the church.
okay.
She's
So
the
we're
contact.
missing,
Point out, Duncan, if maybe if Noah doesn't hear affirmatively from someone, we can circle back with them before the meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah. 'cause usually
PS
they
on the
communicate.
notice that, confirm your attendance or something.
Yeah, do that.
the dentist does it like 6 times, we might as well,
They
you know,
do,
up it a little bit.
charge you, to your point.
I mean, it's not like a dental appointment,
Sometimes it's worse.
I guess it could be worse.
You guys are always pulling teeth. Okay.
Does he need another stamp?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, unless anybody has anything else,
Okay.
we are adjourned.